With the return of Parliament just around the corner, new data shows there's a massive gap in enthusiasm when it comes to supporting the Liberals and the Conservatives. Data from Angus Reid shows 41% would support Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party, while only 24% would vote for the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. Of those supporting the Conservatives, 15% say they are voting primarily to block the Liberals. The same percentage said they would vote Liberal to block the Conservatives. I want to bring in Scott Reid now. He's CTV's political commentator with some analysis. Good morning, Scott. Good to see you.
Good morning, Marcia.
All right, so poll numbers seem to be driving the agenda in Montreal. We can get to that in just a moment. But what do you make of how Canadians feel right now about the Liberals and the Conservatives? The Conservatives continue to maintain this double-digit lead.
Well, it's a tough hope for the governing Liberals. Look, they're 8-9 years into office, so they are the firmly established incumbents that, often breeds an election that, swings around the theme of time for change. So that's all very tough. And I think digging into the numbers that you just profiled, it's an important thing to remember that for a centrist party like the Liberals, it is difficult to motivate your vote. And there are a lot of people that are voting for Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives who are driven to get out of the Barca Lounger, put down that cigarette and pint of beer and get out there and use their vote as a weapon. Maybe because they were really frustrated by the lockdown. Maybe they're very upset about the economic distress they're feeling. Or maybe they just want to get rid of the sitting government. So you've got all of the usual ingredients of time for a change. Let's, take a bet on somebody else, combined with the specific nature of our politics these days, which tends to be very, very, very heavily driven by anger and rage. And you put all that together, it's a bad looking spot for the Liberals.
When you break the numbers down further, though, and you take a closer look, there's a very wide gender gap. Pierre Poilievre viewed poorly by women. How problematic is that for him?
It's something he's going to have to overcome, but he's also been, I think, to his credit, to his campaign's credit, they've been focusing on that. You'll think about, for example, the $1 million ad campaign that he did last year. What was the focus and feature of that campaign? It wasn't him saying, are you cheesed off with the Liberals? Let's go get them. It was presenting him in a family setting, in a park, pushing a swing with his child, talking about his family, talking about his wife's family. So all of that is intended to send signals to suburban female voters, trying to say to them, this guy's a safe bet. You don't have to be distressed about this guy. He's a risk you can take. By contrast, the Liberals have got to go exactly in the opposite direction. When you ask yourself, how do the Liberals dig out of this hole? Well, the first thing you do is you reach for the rung that's closest to you on the ladder, and that is women, and that is probably older women. Those are the voters who were with you last. They've been the first and most recent to abandon you. Go get them. Go get them with a combination of policies that appeal to them, and frankly, go get them with some messages of concern with respect to Poilievre, underlining the point that, actually, you know what, he is a risk you can't afford to take. So it's going to be interesting to watch the struggle over the female cohort of voters, and particularly, I would say, those over the age of 55.